dense jungles of Mesoamerica hold many secrets, but none more captivating than the rise and fall of a civilization known only through a series of colossal stone heads. Giants of rock, whose eerie faces still stare back from centuries past. They are the Olmec, one of the first great cultures to emerge from the Americas, and their mysterious disappearance remains one of history's greatest unsolved puzzles. The Olmec civilization appeared around 1400 BCE, flourishing along the Gulf coast of what is now Mexico. Yet despite their groundbreaking achievements in art, architecture, and governance, they vanished, leaving behind only whispers in the wind and their monumental stone heads. The largest of these heads, some standing over 9 feet tall, weigh up to 40 tons. But what were they looking at? And who created them? What happened to the people who once sculpted these giants and built thriving cities in the heart of the jungle? Archaeologists have been trying to uncover the mystery of the Olmec for over a century, but their efforts have only led to more questions. Were they victims of a natural disaster, an invasion, or perhaps something even darker? Some researchers believe they were wiped out by a series of catastrophes, earthquakes, floods, or volcanic eruptions. But the lack of written records or signs of warfare leaves the true cause of their disappearance hidden beneath layers of time. The Olmec were not just another tribe or group of nomads. They were pioneers. Their influence reached far beyond the jungles they called home. Long before the rise of the Maya or Aztec, the Olmec crafted intricate works of art, established powerful cities, and laid the groundwork for Mesoamerican culture. The most famous remnants of their civilization, the colossal stone heads, were created between 1200 and 400 BCE. These heads are not only remarkable for their size and craftsmanship, but also for the mystery of their purpose. Some believe they depict rulers. Others argue that they are divine figures created to symbolize the gods the Olmec worshipped. The Olmec's legacy goes far beyond their monuments. They are credited with many firsts in Mesoamerican civilization, including the development of the Mesoamerican ball game, an early form of writing, and the creation of monumental architecture. The cities of San Lorenzo and La Venta were marvels of their time, featuring massive plazas, pyramids, and complex drainage systems. These were the hallmarks of a sophisticated society capable of large-scale urban planning. But what made their achievement so extraordinary was the fact that, unlike their contemporaries in Egypt or Mesopotamia, the Olmec had no known system of writing that has survived. There are some carved symbols, but they remain enigmatic. How, then, did they accomplish so much, and why has no clear record of their civilization survived? By around 400 BCE, the Olmec civilization had mysteriously disappeared. Their once thriving cities were abandoned without a trace, their monuments left to crumble under the relentless jungle growth. But the most perplexing part of the mystery is the complete absence of any explanation for their sudden fall. The lack of written records means there is no official account of what happened. No great battles, no invasions, and no dramatic collapse recorded in the annals of history. Unlike other ancient civilizations that left behind stories of war or conquest, the Olmec seem to have evaporated into the mist of time. What happened to them? Did they migrate? Their cities abandoned in search of new lands? Or did something far more catastrophic occur? Something that wiped out their population so completely that not even their cities could offer a clue to their fate. Some believe the Olmec were simply victims of their environment. Perhaps they faced extreme flooding or devastating earthquakes. But the absence of skeletal remains or signs of trauma in the archaeological record only deepens the mystery. The cities were abandoned in an almost unnatural way, their buildings left intact, yet their people gone without a trace. Archaeological digs in the Olmec heartland have uncovered some startling evidence. Some of the cities appear to have suffered from natural disasters such as floods, volcanic eruptions, or shifting landscapes. The Gulf Coast region where the Olmec thrived was and still is a hotbed for seismic activity, and ancient records suggest that the Olmec may have experienced one or more catastrophic events. One theory posits that the Olmec cities were struck by devastating floods caused by the nearby rivers overflowing after a heavy rainy season. The ruins of San Lorenzo, one of the major Olmec cities, show signs of having been buried by layers of mud and sediment. Some researchers speculate that a volcanic eruption might have occurred nearby, altering the climate and environment in such a way that it became unsustainable for the Olmec to continue living there. But were these natural disasters the cause of their collapse, or were they merely a symptom of something far deeper? Could the Olmec have faced a disaster of a more mysterious and sinister nature, something that affected not just their environment, but their very way of life? The greatest evidence of the Olmec's advanced civilization lies in their art and architecture, especially the colossal stone heads. These heads, though seemingly lifeless, tell a story. The way they were carved, so precisely and with such fine detail, suggests a people with advanced tools and knowledge. The sheer scale of these works indicates a well-organized society capable of mobilizing large groups of people for construction projects. But there is something else. Throughout Olmec sites, archaeologists have uncovered other strange artifacts, stones, jade figurines, and mysterious objects whose meanings are still not fully understood. Some of these items suggest that the Olmec might have been in possession of knowledge or technologies far ahead of their time. Did they have access to methods of construction that modern science still hasn't fully grasped? Did they know something about the Earth's natural forces that allowed them to manipulate their environment in ways we can't explain? The lack of written records makes these objects all the more tantalizing. Could these artifacts hold the key to understanding the Olmec's downfall? Or are they symbols of an ancient power that the Olmec may have lost control over? As the centuries have passed, theories about the Olmec's disappearance have multiplied. Some scholars argue that the collapse of their civilization was due to internal factors, social unrest, economic decline, or warfare between rival factions. However, these theories don't explain the absence of skeletal remains or the untouched nature of their cities. Another theory suggests that the Olmec were victims of a global cataclysm, one that affected many ancient civilizations at the same time. The idea that a natural disaster, such as a comet strike or supervolcanic eruption, could have triggered widespread environmental changes is one that has gained traction in recent years. But the lack of evidence for such a global event in the Olmec region makes this theory difficult to prove. There are even more bizarre theories. Could the Olmec have been wiped out by extraterrestrial forces? The striking features of the colossal heads have led some to speculate that the Olmec had contact with beings from another world, perhaps aliens who gave them knowledge or technology beyond their time. But these theories remain highly speculative, with little evidence to support them. Perhaps the most unsettling theory is that the Olmec weren't simply wiped out by a disaster, they were cursed. Ancient texts and legends speak of civilizations that fell because they angered the gods. The Olmec, with their advanced knowledge, may have uncovered a dark secret, one that led to their downfall. But what was that secret? Legend holds that the Olmec knew too much, that they had uncovered knowledge that the gods deemed forbidden. The colossal heads, some say, were not just representations of rulers or gods, but were placed as guardians against the very curse that would destroy them. Could the Olmec have unlocked the secret of the Earth's most dangerous forces, volcanic activity, earthquakes, or floods, and used this power against themselves? Did they awaken something ancient and malevolent, a force that took revenge upon them for their hubris? The legend of the Olmec curse has persisted through the centuries, with some claiming that the cities of San Lorenzo and La Venta were abandoned because of an impending disaster foretold by the gods. These curses, if real, may have been what eventually sealed their fate, but the details are as obscure as the ancient texts that have long since disappeared. Despite all the theories and evidence, the disappearance of the Olmec remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Were they the victims of an ancient catastrophe, a natural disaster, or even something more supernatural? The colossal heads still stand, silent in the jungle, reminders of a civilization lost to time. But there is one question that still lingers. Were the Olmec truly wiped out by a disaster, or did they simply disappear, leaving behind a message that remains lost to us? The truth may never be known, but one thing is certain. The Olmec civilization is far from forgotten,